Good evening and welcome to the African News on VOP TV. I'm Kayla Abraham. First, the major stories. Egypt's presidential poll enters second day as al-Sisi seeks third term. UN warns of global funding of shortfall as global crises mount. Sudan war rages on 8 months after. And Nigeria's Oshoala chases history in tonight's CAF Awards 2023. The news in details. Cameroonian opposition leader Maurice Kamto has been re-elected the national president of the Cameroonian Renaissance Movement, MRC. Kamto secured over 99% of the votes as his list stood unopposed. MRC militants gathered at the Yaoundé Sport Complex for the party's two-day convention. In the speech partly delivered in French and English, 69-year-old Kamto announced the creation of coalition with the aim to build a peaceful Cameroon. Kamto said that the Political Alliance for Change, APC, will work with Cameroonians of all backgrounds, including the supporters of the nation's current regime. The Cameroon Renaissance Movement will once again take part in all upcoming elections. This announcement marks a shift in the party's previous contestation strategy after it boycotted the legislative and municipal elections in 2020 and therefore has no representatives sitting in the National Assembly. In 2019 and 2020, hundreds of executives and militants of the MRC were arrested following the UN expat called peaceful marches which suffered violent repression. Egyptians went to the polls on Sunday in a presidential election overshadowed by war in neighboring Gaza and with little doubt that the incumbent Abdel Fattah al-Sisi would secure a third term. In the country gripped by the most severe financial crisis in its recent history, inflation has hovered near 40% after the currency lost half its value and drove up the cost of import. Voting will take place on Tuesday until Tuesday between 9 a.m. and 9 p.m. each day, with the official result announced on December 18. The three other candidates are all relative unknowns among the public. Farid Zaran, leader of the left-leaning Egyptian Social Democratic Party. Abdel Sanad Yamama from the Wafd, a century-old but relatively marginal party. And Hazem Omar from the Republican People's Party. President Sisi, a retired field marshal in the Egyptian army, came to power in 2013 after leading the overthrow of elected Islamist President Mohamed Morsi. In both the 2014 and 2018 elections, Sisi won with over 96% of the vote, according to official results. Democratic Republic of Congo's incumbent president, Felix Tshisekedi, has promised to fight terrorism and crush the popular M23 rebels causing trouble in the country's North Kivu region. Speaking at a rally in Goma, with less than 2 weeks to go before the presidential election, the president assured citizens that he will rid the country of the M23 rebels and to terrorism that has plunged the Congolese people into mourning for decades. Tshisekedi also urged more Congolese to enlist in the armed forces to fight the M23 rebels, which has displaced thousands of people. Tshisekedi accuses Rwanda of backing the rebels, while UN experts have linked the rebels to Rwandan forces. However, Kigali has denied the accusations. It's been 8 months at war in Sudan and there seems to be no end in sight. In a latest development, the United Nations has revealed that it's out of funds and says the situation is catastrophic. The head of the UN's humanitarian response in war-torn Sudan, Clementine Nkweta Salami, says of nearly 25 million people in need, the United Nations has only been able to reach a fraction, and assistance to even those 4 million could soon stop. On April 15, Army Chief Abdel Fattah al-Burhan and his former deputy Mohamed Hamdan Daglo, who commands the paramilitary rapid support forces, turned their weapons on each other. Hundreds of deaths have been recorded, with 7 million people displaced in Sudan, which is the highest displacement situation globally. Still to come, Tanzania government orders social media crackdown, this and many more after the break.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
Welcome back. Tanzanian authorities are investigating social media users accused of spreading false information about Vice President Philip Mpago's health. Mpago resurfaced on Sunday after being absent from public view for over a month, sparking relief and ending widespread rumors he had died. Information Minister Nape Nwaye has ordered investigation into those who spread the speculation. The Vice President was last seen in public on 31 October while representing President Samia Suluhu Hassan during a virtual meeting of leaders from the Southern African Development Community. His absence had sparked widespread concern, with Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa previously warning citizens against the speculation. In 2018, Tanzania enacted tough laws against the spread of fake news, which critics see as a way of curbing freedom of expression. Kenya Airways KQNA-NR has told its customers to be prepared for potential disruptions to its flight schedule during the busy Christmas holiday season due to shortages of spare parts. The carrier, one of the biggest in Africa, said the lack of parts, which is affecting the global supply chain, would disrupt flight for about 2 weeks. According to International Aviation Authority, shortage of spare parts for aircraft have been a global problem this year, with many airlines shutting down many of their routes. The United Nations has called for $46 billion in funding for 2024 as it scrambles to get aid to millions hit by humanitarian crises around the globe. Noting the situations in the Palestinian territories, Sudan and Ukraine, the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, said in its Global Humanitarian Overview for 2024 that funding shortages mean it would only be able to provide aid to just over half of the nearly 300 million people that will require it next year. Now, Rwanda's healthcare systems, including service delivery, are set for greater improvement as a result of 2 projects funded to the combined tune of $85 million in total by the United States through its agencies for international development. On December 8, in Kigali, U.S. aid announced the 2 projects Arum and Tubeho, meaning Let's Live, which are aimed at supporting and further strengthening Rwanda's healthcare system. Still to come, Zimbabwe opposition condemns one-sided by-elections and records on display as CAF Awards 2023 holds tonight. Stay with us.
When your morning starts, make sure to look around for the right company to serve you everything you need to know about what's happening around you. That's why you need VOP this morning, because we will climb this far to give you a voice in what's going on, from news, reviews, politics and the economy, sports and even entertainment. Join us weekdays 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. right here on VOP TV. VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
There seems to be scarcity of the Naira note across the country, despite the announcement by the Central Bank of Nigeria that the old Naira notes are still considered legal tender. Recalling that the CBN had affirmed that it has enough currency notes in the market and hence no need for panic withdrawals by members of the public. Despite this announcement, there seemed to be a looming Naira scarcity, and somehow Nigerians seem to be calm about it. Or should we say they are ignorant? Now let's go into the street of Oshoala to hear what people has to say.
Our leaders, they don't misleading us. They are bad people. You understand me now? They know they are fighting for their own pockets. You understand me now? They didn't like us to vote them in. But look at everywhere. It's not easy. First scarcity, another one is coming again.
The thing is that it should not be like the previous one because so many people died. So many people died due to that scarcity. But due to this present situation of the country now, they should look into it and do the appropriate things.
We should be praying to God so it won't happen. This is our new president now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. I pray for him. Let God give him long life so he can do it very well. You understand me now? So Nigeria have spoiled since many years. We don't have a good government. We have a bad governors, a bad government that we have. We'll just pray to God that maybe God will let him to try his best and do it for us.
Then the bank, they should try to provide enough currency, cash, so that when people go there, they will be able to collect cash.
Well, that is it for today on Voice of the People TV. If you enjoy our content, kindly follow and
Welcome back. Zimbabwe held crucial by-elections on Saturday with the opposition in turmoil after being excluded from voting list and President Emerson Mnangagwa's party looking to tighten its grip on power. 9 by-elections were scheduled to be held, but most opposition candidates were taken off electoral list by courts in a chaotic run-up to the voting. Director General of World Health Organization WHO Tedros Adhanom has addressed the situation in Gaza, saying that without a ceasefire there is no peace. His statement came during his closing remarks at a special session of the WHO's Executive Board, during which a resolution was adopted. The WHO resolution stated that all parties to armed conflict must comply fully with the obligations applicable to them under international humanitarian law related to the protection of civilians in armed conflict and medical personnel. Nigeria's Oshoala chased history in Marrakech. The highly anticipated CAF Awards 2023 will be held at the Palais des Congrès in Marrakech, Morocco tonight. All eyes will be on Nigerian duo Victor Osimhen and Asisa Oshoala as they look to claim the ultimate prize in the men's and women's categories. Osimhen is in contention for the men's player for the year with Morocco's Achraf Hakimi and Egypt's forward Mohamed Salah. The 24-year-old is looking to become the first Nigerian to win the prestigious award after Nwankwo Kanu claimed the honor in 1999 after a superb 2022-2023 season with Italian club Napoli, guiding them to their first title in 33 years. For Barcelona's Femeni star, Asisa Oshoala, claiming the top prize will see her become the first woman to win the award for a record-extending 6th time. Also in contention for Nigeria is Chiamaka Nnadozie for the newly introduced Women's Goalkeeper of the Year and Deborah Abiodun in contention for the Young Player of the Year, while the Super Falcons have their eye on the National Team of the Year. To end the African news and VOP TV, these are the major stories we have read earlier. Egypt's presidential poll enters second day as Al-Sisi seeks third term. UN warns of global funding of shortfall as global crisis mount. Sudan war rages on 8 months after. And Nigeria's Oshoala chases history in tonight's CAF Awards 2023. And that's the end of the African news on VOP TV. Good evening. I am Kayla Abraham.